LeBron James, he's had one of his most difficult seasons in his career based on results versus expectations, and there are reports that he did not want the roster how it is, as he wanted the Lakers to re-sign Alex Caruso very badly. Now, Caruso, he eventually signed with the Chicago Bulls a 4-year, $37 million deal, so the Lakers, they were outbid by another team, and then they made the monster trade for getting Russell Westbrook. But based on that trade, it was either going to be Alex Caruso or Taylor Horton-Tucker that they were going to re-sign, and they stuck with THT since he was a younger player and had agreed to a shorter deal. THT is a better overall offensive player and a better scorer, but Caruso provides more playmaking and defense along with being a strong hustler, and that's what LeBron preferred. Especially since KCP, he was involved in that Westbrook trade. He was the primary defender, and they moved on from him, and if they brought back Caruso, he would have replaced him instead. But overall, the Lakers, they have a below-average defense, not the worst, but is worse compared to previous years, especially with Anthony Davis being out for several weeks. And that's not the only preference LeBron had. He preferred to have Scott Brooks on the team, and his role would have been as offensive coordinator. Now, Scott Brooks, he was the head coach for the Washington Wizards the previous year, and that was the same year that Westbrook was on the team, and they had one of the better offenses that season, but the team, they decided to part ways with Scott Brooks, as he is currently the top assistant coach for the Portland Trail Blazers. And head coach Frank Vogel, he is a defensive-minded coach, so to bring in Scott Brooks would to make sense, especially with his relationship with Russell Westbrook, as right now the former MVP point guard, he is struggling to adapt with the Lakers system, as he's more than likely to move on from the team after the season, and we'll see how the team performs moving forward. Now, moving on from that, another player to note is James Harden. He also had issues with the Nets, and one of them being is Kyrie Irving, specifically with his vaccination status. He was worried about his impact with the team since he can only play in road games, and his concern was coming around playoff time. If the team were to match up with the Raptors, he will not be eligible to play due to COVID rules in Canada. And the same rules were to apply with the Knicks and the Warriors. So that issue were to happen with a couple other teams, and Kyrie Irving, he has no signs of wanting to get the vaccine. And the one thing to be aware of is that the Nets, they have the 8th seed, the Raptors are the 7th seed, and currently Brooklyn has lost 3 straight games. They were in a slump entering New Year's, while the Raptors, they were creeping up, and if the season were to end on the spot, both teams would face each other in a one-game matchup in a play-in tournament for the 7th seed. So it's understanding why James Harden is concerned, especially with Brooklyn. They're just so top-heavy, relying on Kyrie, KD, and Harden himself. So not having Kyrie would put so much pressure on James Harden and Kevin Durant to overcome the loss of their star point guard, which explains one of the reasons why James Harden wanted out of Brooklyn. That's all for now, you guys. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share with others, as I'll see you guys next time.